without a shadow of a doubt, really. Lewis, our weights coach, I mean, he is such a pioneer, and he's like, just his attention to detail is absolutely second to none. And I think there's the way he's moved that part of our training on has just made us all, like, we're much more robust as a team. We're much stronger as a team. I think for me, like, I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for how much he's actually put into this team. And I'd say Lewis and the rest of the S&C staff there, they just, like, yeah, I think they play a huge part in our performance.
Yeah, for me, I had a bad injury a couple of years ago where I broke some bones in my back, and Sally Brown looked after me really, really well. So she actually stayed in hospital with me for a few nights and just wouldn't leave my bed, which was, like, way beyond what her job is to do. And then over the next few months did everything to get me back into being able to walk and then being, like, in shape to go rowing again, and then eventually be able to race internationally again, which, like, I didn't think to begin with I'd be able to do. So she was brilliant.
Obviously, physios are always there to kind of build you back up when you've trained really hard and kind of broken down a little bit. I've been lucky that injuries haven't been too bad, but I have had a couple of times where I've been out of the boat for a little bit of time, and they're always there as support, as well as if you're having a bad day, they're always around for kind of a cheery face, as well as their professional expertise in the physio side of it. And I'd also say that Mel Chowns is literally, like, the whole team loves Mel Chowns because she's a performance advisor, but she's also kind of just always someone there with some advice, even if it's not around future careers or outside of rowing now. She's kind of always there as a support mechanism, and she goes above and beyond her job every single day. So she's someone that definitely stands out.
Yeah, well, I think in my third year, I had a bit of a dark patch. I was struck with illness, and I missed a couple of months of the year, really, leading into the World Champs especially. And for me, it was a very turbulent up and down year. I think I'll be getting better. Next minute, I was ill again. And you do go through some dark times there. I mean, everyone's ultra competitive and you want to get back on your feet as soon as possible. And having the support of the doctors and the physios and just the physiology team, monitoring your lactate, monitoring not only your mental well-being but also your physical well-being, it doesn't help you get back in the boat straight away, but it does help you when you finally do get back in the boat. You're at a level where you're expected to perform and you can perform. You're not pushed too hard to start too early, but they don't also hold you back. So for me, from my third year, I've learned a lot from that, and there's been changes I've made to stop that happening again. But that's my personal experience.
So one of the kind of unsung heroes around this place is Mel Chowns. She is our performance lifestyle director, and she is the person that helps you get into the sport. It helps ease your transition into the team, but she plays a huge part in developing your skills that are needed outside of rowing. For me, I haven't done a day's work since 2006, so my CV is pretty blank. But when I do eventually start to think about stepping away from the sport, I'm going to her straight away, asking her to help write my CV, interview practice, where I can study. She just helps with everything that you don't necessarily think of as being helping you go faster in a boat, but she's there to support you in many ways. It's not just making you go faster on the water, it's helping you balance your life outside of the boat.
Well, I guess the most recent one would be in around October. I've been back training for a month and I got quite a severe stress fracture in my rib, and I was out of the boat and on a bike for a couple of months. And what is amazing about the physios here, and I think if you ask anyone who's worked with them, they work really closely with the S&C team, and then together they get you back and rehab you from your injury, but you come back better than you were before. So actually, I'd been on a bike for 2 months, and the work that they were able to do, I then got back in a boat, and I feel like this year my technique on the water has got a lot better, despite not actually having rowed, just because of basically how incredible they are and the facilities that they've got to use with us. So yeah, I mean that's an example for me. Like, they helped my rowing, and I was sitting on a bike, and I think that's pretty magic.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a car crash 7 years ago. I fractured my back in 2 different places. I quit rowing for 2 years, and Paralympic sport's the reason I actually got back into it. I had quit rowing and I was recreationally doing javelin, shot put and discus. Completely different, but it was the Paralympic squad that got me back into it. And Pat Dunleavy, our physio, is an EIS physio, and he's got me back on track, single-handedly basically. He's been absolutely awesome, and if it wasn't for him, I still wouldn't be rowing, and there would be, I wouldn't have a Rio gold medal. So that's a pretty shining example, I think. Yeah. So Pat Dunleavy fixed my back.